Today, we have with us MasterChef Mrs. Pankaj Bhaduria, who is the winner of MasterChef India Season 1. She was the first MasterChef winner worldwide to have an official MasterChef cookbook in her name. Quitting her 16-year-old teaching job to participate in the first season of MasterChef India, finally winning it and being an entrepreneur, a TEDx speaker, hosting popular TV shows like Chef Pankaj Ka Zaika, Kifaiti Kitchen, and also being the founder of Best Culinary Arts Academy in India. Our topic for today's session is taking the unconventional path, and she truly is an inspiration to take up more unconventional paths rather than the predetermined society standards. The Human Resource Development Cell welcomes you, ma'am.
Thank you so
Also,
much.
yeah. Also, I would request every attendee to keep themselves muted and maintain the decorum of the session. You can share your thoughts with us, ma'am. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. First of all, let me say that it's such a pleasure to be able to speak to you, all of you. Uh, Whenever I get an opportunity to speak to students, I feel very elated for the simple reason, as she just said, I've been a teacher for 16 years of my life. And, uh, somehow that encourages me, that motivates me, that makes me very happy when I'm able to interact with students once again. Our I've been asked to choose a topic, and I decided to talk to all of you about taking the unconventional path. So today, everybody, of course, knows me as Master Chef Pankaj Bhadoria, but interestingly, I came to be known as a chef at the age of 38 after having been a teacher for almost 16 years of my life. And that is why I thought I should speak to you about how interesting it is to take a path that is, not your conventional job, not your 9 to 5 job. And uh, now, why I said I came to be known as a chef, why I is because I never formally trained to be a chef. It was after I earned the title by winning a reality show. Hmm. And this was India's first ever Master Chef in the year 2010. And this was purely a case of following my passion, which led me up to a very uncertain path. Like that classic example, that classic poem, I would also like to say that I found myself at a crossroad where two roads diverged in the wood, and then I decided to take the one which was less taken. So why I say that is because I gave up my job, a 16-year-old, well-paying, well-established job, to try for a reality show. And that too, when I was just one of the wannabes, mind you. I was not even a part of the top 12, the chosen ones, at that time. And that is why it, brought about such a drastic change in my life. Now, I had been very passionate about cooking ever since I was a kid. But due to certain reasons, I was unable to, pursue it as a career. For a very simple reason to begin with, that in 1980s, nobody really thought of a girl getting into a career as a chef. Uh, Another reason could have been that I lost my dad very early in life at the age of 13. And maybe by that time, we had not come to discussing careers. I was only in class 8th. Hmm. And when I did my class 12th in 89, it was then that I understood what careers meant and how there were so many different types of careers. But that at that time in Delhi, in a very, very middle class family, um, the usual choice of career for girls was either banking or go for a government job. And somehow I didn't see myself fitting into that role at all. Then, due to circumstances, we shifted to uh, moved to Lucknow, which was where my maternal family lived. And unfortunately, I lost my mom also at a very early age, at the age of 20. But one thing that my mother had instilled in me and she had taught and explained to me was that how important it was to get formal education. And uh, I had witnessed this in my own family. So my father was working with Larsen and Toubro, and he used to train engineers. but he was not an engineer himself, right? So that transition of how his students from Sir to Mr. Khanna to Vinodji to Vinod to VK, he hated that transition and always regretted that he did not have that formal education. And after my father passed away, my mother could not get a decent job in my father's office simply because she was not even a graduate. She was all of 17 when she got married and just class 12 passed. So, she would always tell me, Ki Pankaj, education is one such gehna, as she would call it, that nobody can take away from you. You know, Sona chala jayega, chandi chali jayegi. You will lose everything, but one thing that you will never lose is your education. And that is what will help you move on in life. So, having experienced all that, having seen all that, any will to fight the norms and, carve out a very different path for myself evaporated from my mind. And that is when I lost my mom. I was doing my master's in English literature, and golden words were never said, because it was due to that particular qualification that I was able to get a job in my school. And I went on to finish my post graduation while I was working, and then I did a bachelor's in education because I wanted to rise high in the particular field that I was working. So B.Ed hona is compulsory, right? So I did that as well. And as a result, within 2 years, I was teaching classes 11th and 12th. Um, I had a very well-paying job, a fantastic job. And then, all of a sudden, what happened? Akshay Kumar appeared on the screen inviting all home cooks to come and try their luck. Now, I must tell you something, that passions don't die. Somewhere they go sleeping in your heart, in your mind. Uh, of course, you keep dabbling in it once in a while. You keep trying out things, uh, like you cook at home, you cook for your family, you cook for your friends. But merely it went a step further. And I am a very voracious reader, so I tried to. When I looked at food, I did not just look at food as a recipe. I would read the history, the geography, everything about food. Plus, another positive that I had on my side was that I I had definitely gone to IHM Pusa, but not to do a course in hotel management, but to pursue a diploma course in food preservation and canning technology. So I had studied food as a science, you know, so which helped me a lot in understanding what food was all about. So when this opportunity came my way, I suddenly felt like a teenager once again, you know, waiting to go out and grab a new opportunity. But then I was not a teenager any longer. I was a mother of two kids. Um, I had a very decent job and I had responsibilities there as well. And uh, so when MasterChef came calling, I went there. I cleared 3 rounds of audition in Lucknow, and then I cleared another round of auditions in Mumbai. And that is when something called boot camp happened. Okay. Now this is where I was faced with the dilemma. So hua kya ki when at the boot camp, uh, if we were to be selected for the top 12, I would have to stay back for 3 months. And if I was not selected, if I didn't manage to make through the boot camp, I would be back in 6 days. Hmm. So naturally, 3 months is a pretty long time, for a teacher to take leave from school. And I went to my authorities and told them, Ki, look, this is the scene. I might be back in 6 days. Otherwise, I might need leave for 3 months. And you can understand it will be a little difficult to get leave for 3 months. But what made it worse for me was that my colleagues, my immediate colleagues, had been given 2 months leaves for US vacations, and here was something that I wanted to do very different, and I couldn't get leave. This was not a vacation. This was something very, very different. You know, and to make matters worse, I was even told that I was going there not because I loved cooking or I was passionate about cooking, but I was going there because I was attracted by the glamour of the television world. Now, you tell that to a teenager or to a 20-year-old, it makes sense, but you're telling that to a mother of two kids, 38-year-old woman, that she's attracted by the glamour of television world. Come on. And then in very caustic terms, I was told either you quit the show or you quit your job. And so I decided to quit my job and take a very, very unconventional path, and uh, I think it was because I felt that I would rather take an opportunity and lose all, if so be it, than not take the opportunity and live with a regret all my life. And somehow I could not see myself living with a regret at all. And then there was my solid rock, my family. They stood by me in this most difficult decision of my life. You see, what happens is when you've got two incomes coming in a family, uh, you and you minus away one income. You do not lose out on your necessities at all, but you lose out on a lot. And whatever decision I took would definitely affect my entire family. And so, but my family did not see that. All they saw were the dreams in the eyes of a 38-year-old, mind you, and they pushed me out. And so when my husband asked me, do you think you can make it to the top 12? I said yes, and I think I can go even higher. So to that he said, then go and don't worry about home at all. And my mom-in-law also assured me, she said, Jao, if your school cannot support you, don't worry, we are here to support you. And you must go and try for what you believe in, so passionately. And so from there on, with my heart soaring, full of confidence, assured of my knowledge and my capabilities. Now that was important. I took another chance in my life, and many young people come to me and tell me, oh, I'm very passionate about this, I'm very passionate about that. So what I always ask them in return is, but are you prepared for it? Because I feel mere passion without any preparation is no good at all. So if there is something you're passionate about, be prepared for it. I think all my life I'd been preparing for what was to happen when I got a second chance in life. And somewhere or the other, everything had just fallen into place for it to happen. So this was, a path that would have been very difficult for somebody to take at this stage of life when you're comfortably settled. And that brings me back to the unconventional paths that we have to talk about. You people are very, very fortunate because today you have so many opportunities, so many different, careers opening up before you. We didn't. Definitely we didn't. The very thought of looking for something very different, would make people raise their eyebrows. Arey, aisa kaise? So any student who was studying science like I did was either going to become an engineer or going to become a doctor. If you had biology, so you had to, try for the medical line. And otherwise you would go on to do a BSc, and I really don't know what after that. But today, there are such interesting careers for you to look into. For somebody who has studied as a chef, who studied hotel management and studied food as a science, can actually go beyond, just becoming a chef. How? Why? Do you know there are people who are flavor analysts, right? And whose business it is to study flavors and, create flavors. Imagine. And there are very few people in this world who do this as a profession, but they're highly prized people because their sensory organs are highly, what should I say, awakened, right? So their sense of smell, their sense of taste, it is highly awakened, for which, and you have such people in India as well. A few years back, I remember I was at another university talking about something very similar, different careers and how things have changed. And I remember talking to them about a very, very interesting career, in the sense it was all about capturing ghosts. You remember that movie called Ghostbusters? Well, there is actually a career where people are supposed to go out and capture ghosts, or and coming back, I do tend to deviate a little, or go on to ramble, but forgive me for that. Let me come back to what I was saying. And yes, so I was saying that you people are very, very fortunate that you have so many career opportunities before you. Today, if somebody says, Mom, Dad, I want to become a photographer, what would they say? Some may encourage you, some may not. So the ones who would encourage you would tell you to go for a formal degree in photography or go do a particular course in photography. I know, because I have so many students who studied under me, and who went out to do courses in photography or fashion. Of course, is a very acceptable career today. There is one who's a nature photographer. There's one who went out to specialize in wedding photography. Then there are so many, uh, I know of people who are getting into research by choice, who are doing research in different fields. When you think of somebody studying commerce, what do you want to become? CA? No. My own daughter studied commerce, and she's today working with uh, Goldman Sachs, right? And so endless opportunities. How I envy you people, I can't tell you. And I wish at our age we had these opportunities. I wish we had Google at that time. Forget Google. It was so difficult to assimilate, information. Uh, it didn't come easy, so you had to really search for things that you really wanted to find out about. But fortunately, today everything is at the touch of a button, and fortunately, you can, before you get into your careers, you can actually research a lot about what you want to do. And I always tell everybody, try to follow your passion. You know, if you can make a profession out of your passion, so much the better. Nothing like it. You will enjoy your life. But in case you can't, in case it is difficult for you to turn your passion into profession, my suggestion is make your profession your passion. Enjoy what you're doing, because it is very important to enjoy what you do. If you don't do that, it becomes very monotonous. It becomes very taxing on your mind, your body, and more important, your soul. And after this last 1 year that we've been through, I think all of us have understood how important it is to take care of our mental health and mental well-being as well. And and in order to be able to do that, I think it is very important to be able to enjoy what we are doing, even if it means, you know taking a path maybe nobody has taken before. I know of people around me who worked in fantastic jobs abroad, but they gave up their jobs to come back and set up farms, organic farms. There's this lovely girl who's set up a stevia farm and she's minting money out of it now, right? So the whole idea that farming is not just about growing your regular wheat or rice. No, she's gone a step ahead and she's growing stevia and making money out of it. Very good money. So, the whole idea is you need to sit down, think, think out of the box, and then decide what you want to do in life. That is very important. At my school, I also helped students, with their careers. I was a little into career counseling as well. And we would sit for at least half an hour together trying to discover what my student actually wanted to do in life, what their interests were. And then we would sit and uh, look for options where they could, uh, get formal training, because I'm a great believer of formal training, even if it means following your passions. As I've explained to you, why? Because I've seen the ill effects if you do not have good formal education or formal training in what you want to do. So I would like to give you a very nice example. One of my students was not good in studies, but he was very good at, making sketches, and he would immediately make caricatures of people, and, you know, designing, arts, painting. So one day, when we were sitting and we said, I just asked him, Manish, what do you think of fashion as an industry? So he said, ma'am, I've never really thought about it. So I said, let's sit down and talk about it. And so we spent an hour talking about fashion as an industry, and I explained to him what it meant and where all, it had scope. And then we got him forms, and I sat down and filled his forms for NIFT. Fortunately, because he was such a talented boy, he got into NIFT Delhi. And today he is one of the leading fashion designers in Delhi. He's doing really wonderful for himself. He's working with the UP government as well. He's working with some big shot names, and he's styling big shot names in Delhi. So and he realizes that, and he comes, whenever he comes and meets me, he tells me, ma'am, agar aapne mera us din form na bhara hota na, to aaj main yahan na hota. Because his entire family had given up on him, that ye to kuch nahi kar payega. But then there was this, for his family, for somebody to get into something like fashion was unthinkable, unheard of. It was at that point of time a very unconventional path for him. I'm talking about 10 years ago. So what I'm trying to say is, please do not get blinded by things that may shine very bright. Please do not get disheartened when people do not see your point of view. If there is something that interests you, if there is something you feel very passionate about, go ahead, do it. Convince everybody around you that this is the best thing for you because you love it so much. But then mark my words, mere passion is not enough. You need to be prepared for it. Prepared in the sense, be trained for it. Otherwise, there's no dearth of passionate, trained, talented people who may overcome you, who may, fall behind in the race one day. It's you yourself who has to decide. And once you know what you really want to do, then you must speak to people around you, uh, look for the best opportunities in the terms of where you can learn that particular art, trade, how you can go about doing it. And if there is some resistance from any corner, the only way you can overcome that resistance is by educating them about it, right? So, one thing I've always believed in, I always reiterate, and I always tell everybody is that what it takes is within you, it is never around you. So, ignite that spark and let it burn bright. And even if it means taking a path very unconventional. So if somebody wants to become a hairstylist and the family says, hey Bhagwan, now banoge kya? Convince them it is not just it's an art, right? And people are making fantastic money out of this art. And I've known people to do that, go to the UK, the US, and study this as a subject and then come back and do roaring business out of it. So whatever interests you, ignites that passion, makes you excited, makes you happy, is exactly what you should be doing. If I could do it at the age of 38, why can't you? You're all young boys and girls. So please follow your heart, follow your passions, and do what you want to do best. Thank you, boys and girls. Thank you so much for listening to me very patiently. And I really enjoyed speaking today to all of you. I wish we were all live, and I could see all of you here and then interact with you. It would have been fantastic. But someday, maybe I would definitely do that. So thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing your thoughts with us. Now, the floor is open for questions. In case anyone wants to ask a question or says anything, you can feel free to type it in the chat box. You can feel free to type it directly to me in the chat box.
And Muskan, then would you be reading out the questions?
Ma'am, it will be me, Garima.
Garima, all right. Yes, thank you.
Yes. Till the time everyone is asking their question, I would like to ask a question.
Go
Firstly,
ahead.
it was a great opportunity to host you, ma'am.
Thank you
My
so
question,
much.
yeah, my question is that, like, you said that when you went for MasterChef, you also said that no one thought that a girl would do that. Mostly the chef was a male-dominated career. So, did you face any challenges at that time?
Garima, to tell you the truth, somebody there did tell me, Pankaj, you're trying to, uh, you know, uh, storm a male bastion. And I told them, you wait and watch, a woman is going to rule this over here today. So yes, things like this do happen. But understand, Garima, what is the reason why we have such few women chefs? Or we had. Today, of course, I know because I run a culinary academy, I see, but 70% of my students are females, right? And wherever I go, I see so many girls in the kitchen these days. But till a few years ago, you must understand why we didn't have so many female chefs. The reason is the same as for any other career. Any career where the timings were uncertain, where the job profile was uncertain, you know, uh, people were not very comfortable sending their daughters, or girls were not very comfortable going. What time does the kitchen start? For the morning breakfast, the kitchen will open at 5. After the dinner, it closes at around 1 or 2 in the night, right? And then there are 24-hour coffee shops, which means the kitchen is always running in a hotel. So it became a little difficult for parents to allow their daughters out at that time, and the daughters also felt कि मम्मी पापा ने allow नहीं किया तो हम ये काम कैसे करें, right? So now these days you find girls working in all other fields. Similarly, they are working in the kitchens in hotels today as well. But yes, you are right, it is still a male dominated world, and slowly girls are making their presence felt. We have a lot of women chefs coming up today. You have an Indian woman chef who's won a Michelin star as well, right? So not to say, and if you've heard of names like Ritu Dalmia and Manisha Bhasin, they're highly respected, uh, highly respected people in this trade because of where they stand today. Hello? Hello?
Ma'am, I think Garima had some network issues from her side. So I'll be taking over. I'm Madhumanti.
Hi, Madhumanti.
Yes, hi, ma'am. It was great listening to you. And those who did message Garima for their doubts, can you just please message me as well so that I can see it. And meanwhile, ma'am, okay, so I have always wanted to ask this, and while others are going to ask the more professional questions, I will just move forward with this. I love watching MasterChef, and I love cooking myself. I am in the kitchen all day. So
Wonderful.
yeah, so however, I just cannot figure out how do you manage to cook within such a short span of time, because I would rather cook slowly and steadily than finish it within like 40 minutes to 1 hour, and it's just very stressful. But sometimes I could actually use it because I have my college going on, so faster cooking is something I could use. So do you have any tips for that?
Yes, definitely. Like for all other things, if you have everything planned out in your mind, it becomes all the more easier. As you said, 45 minutes, 1 hour में आप master chef में cook कर लेते थे. I'll explain but what happens is, so once you get a task, particular task, this is what you're supposed to do. And you see all of us rushing to our tables and starting cooking. Now, actually, there's some 10-15 minutes gap in between, because they would have around 40 cameras on all the sides trained on us. So once the task is announced, they would take a quick 10-minute break to adjust to those cameras, and get them all around the contestants. So that 10-15 minute break would become our planning time. And if you have everything planned out in your mind, it becomes easy. And I can understand your problem, because I used to leave home at 7:30 a.m. in the morning after having sent 2 kids to school, packed their lunch, cooked lunch for home, and packed my own lunch box and then go. So I would get 20 to 25 minutes time in the kitchen, and everything would happen in a jiffy. And I guess that helped me in MasterChef also, because I was always the first contestant to finish my work. But how can you do it? So you need to plan your meals, right? For example, if it takes you too long to cook your breakfast, is there anything that you can do the day before? For example, can you do overnight soaked oats and keep it in your refrigerator? So all you have to do is take out your glass or your jar and khaya aur nikal liye, and if there's a lunchbox that you need to pack, what is going to go in your lunchbox, right? And can you do some basic preps ready and keep them in the refrigerator? Like, for example, uh, your ginger garlic paste, your onion paste, or your cooked onion paste, which is always a blessing, and your tomato purees. So all you have to do is put everything in the pan, toss it together, uh, and if you're using fresh vegetables, you can chop them and keep them ready in advance. So a little planning always helps everywhere, and similarly, it helps in cooking as well. There is something that we do in a professional kitchen called mise a plat. By mise a plat, I mean uh, everything to be prepared in advance, and you will see everything cut, chopped, and kept ready on the side, right? So if you're planned like that, everything becomes easy.
Okay, ma'am, that was actually good to hear. And yes, I have found it more convenient to use tomato puree and ginger garlic paste rather than actually chop things off. It's
Yeah.
easier. Yes, okay. So we have a few questions in the chat box. Kajal asked that what would be better to develop our personality? Should we
Hmm.
focus on our education or more on our skills?
Education or skill? How can you separate the two? If there is a particular skill, why don't you want to educate yourself in that particular skill only? I just said that na, ki formal education, I am a great believer of formal education. So if there's a particular skill, if you're very good at carving out things, why can't you do it as a profession? Why can't you train for it properly? For me, skill without education has no meaning at all. What education would do is it will hone your skill, you know it will help you become a better person. So why separate out the two? Why don't you find a path that will bring the two together?
That is actually a great way to go about it, ma'am. We have another question. It's from Girisha. That as you have worked both in conventional way as a teacher and in the conventional way as a chef, what has interested you more?
I have enjoyed both the phases of my life. As a teacher, I thoroughly enjoyed myself, because again, I was teaching a subject that I loved, English literature. I was teaching an age group I could relate to very easily. When my students were 17 and 18, I was all of 21 myself, right? So so I guess I have enjoyed both the phases of life, and I cannot say this was better or that was better. But today, definitely, there's a lot more that I'm doing, and many more interesting things that I'm doing, and definitely enjoying whatever I do. So I think this is definitely more the horizon has widened for me. It is much bigger today, and definitely more interesting as well.
Okay, ma'am. All right. There are a few questions that are tilted towards, like becoming a chef later. So I'll be reading
Hmm.
out one of those.
Yes.
Akansha says that her parents didn't allow her to join hotel management and now she's pursuing BCom honors. So can she know any way out so that ultimately she can become a chef and do whatever she wanted to do?
Definitely, Akansha. There are two things that you can do side by side. Once you're as you're doing your graduation in commerce, okay, right? You can take a diploma course, a part-time diploma course that will help you to study hotel management along with your graduation, and so you can keep your parents happy, you can keep yourself happy as well. Both the things can happen at the same time. So there are courses where you can do there are places where you can do part-time courses. So definitely that can be a very good way of dealing with the situation.
Okay, ma'am. And okay, so there's one question that has been popping up quite a few times, that what is your favorite dish?
So the good part is there is no one favorite dish, because I enjoy eating more than I enjoy cooking myself. And my favorites depend on my mood, like everybody else. There are days when I would love to have a plain and simple khichdi along with all the accompaniments. उसके साथ अचार भी हो, उसके साथ पापड़ भी हो, रायता भी हो, salad भी हो, सब कुछ हो, right? And there are days that I would love to have a biryani, right? So, but yes, definitely, I think if there was one dish that was to stand out, I would say, uh, being a true Punjabi, it would be a butter chicken. So give me a good butter chicken and naan any day, and I'll be very very happy.
Yes, definitely. Today dinner itself we'll be ordering butter chicken because now all of us are tempted.
Yes, I do.
Okay. Also, Yashasvi asked that is there any chef that you admire the most?
There are a lot many chefs that I really really admire for what they do. It'll be very difficult to name just one person, and but yes, one who really influenced me and who got me all interested in cooking all the more was, so when I was growing up, there was this program on television where there was this Chinese chef who would appear and say, "If Yan can cook, so can you." And he would make cooking seem so easy, and he would be looking, see, so easy to chop, 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 chop. And he would make cooking so interesting and so exciting. And I really admired the way, he could he would always have a live audience. So the way he could get his live audience come together and enjoy, a simple task of cooking. So I think Yan is definitely one of my favorites. I'm sure, if you search for him, Yan can cook, you'll find a lot about him. And बहुत interesting था वो बंदा भी, और उसका cooking style भी, and the way he hosted the shows as well. I think that was the one of the best, or one of my favorite chefs. Another I must always say, and I say his name with a lot of respect, is Chef Qureshi. And Chef Imtiaz Qureshi today has redefined or introduced the world to what the finesse of Awadhi cuisine is all about. And although he's not a trained chef again, but I believe it is in his genes, because he comes from a family where this was a profession, where cooking was a profession. And I really admire the man from where he has risen and where he is today. And he's even won a Padma Shri. So really respect the man for all his efforts. And every time that I meet him in person, it's like a fan moment for me. So
Wow,
I believe,
that's just amazing. Okay, so Komal has asked that if we have a lot of interests that are totally different from each other, and till date we aren't able to choose one as our passion, how should we go about it?
Yes, I understand. Many people face this dilemma कि ये भी अच्छा लगता है, वो भी अच्छा लगता है, ये भी अच्छा लगता है, वो भी अच्छा लगता है, क्या करें? But you know, I always say it's always better to be a master of one trade than be a jack of all trades. So being a jack of all trades is very good, all good. You will be able to enjoy so many things in life. You will have so many opportunities. But if you want to become a master, you'll have to choose one, and that is where all the problem arises. How to make the choice? है ना? How do you choose which one? So all you need to do is sit down, close your eyes, and think about everything, right? And this is where you need to let your, mind rule over your heart. How? Your heart loves this, that, that. But then let your mind think of all the pros, all the cons, the possibilities, the opportunities, right? For each and every different trade. So you must write them down on paper. So make an Excel. ये प्रोफेशन, ये प्रोफेशन, ये प्रोफेशन, ये प्रोफेशन, और उसके नीचे सबके प्रोस, सबके कॉन्स, सबकी पॉसिबिलिटीज, सबकी अपॉर्चुनिटीज, and whichever weighs heavy, that is your choice.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, one more very common question is that can you please share any healthy recipe for students? This has been asked by a lot of people.
Yes, definitely. Healthy recipe for students. So I think you can. तुम लोग हेल्दी खाना, अच्छा हेल्दी खाना खाते भी हो तुम लोग? Very good. Do include a lot of eggs in your diet, and if you are vegetarian, then do include other sources of proteins that you can simply add to your food. You can go for peanuts, you can go for soya. ठीक है, लेकिन सोया मलाई चाप खाने प्लीज मत जाना, जितना प्रोटीन खाओगे उससे ज्यादा फैट साथ में जाएगा. So try to include a few soya nuggets, throw a few soya nuggets into whatever you're eating. If you have a refrigerator with you, try doing overnight soaked oats. They are very good, very healthy, very nutritious, give you a lot of protein also, and oats give you this full capacity. It gives you a very satiated feeling, and because it releases its energy very low, you do not feel hungry for a long time. So you can definitely try and get some oats into your diet. I know many people don't like eating oats, but uh, soak your oats in little yogurt or fruit juices and top it with lots of fruits and chia seeds or sesame seeds. They add a very nice nutty flavor, and just keep them in small glasses in the refrigerator. Subah nikala khaya, aage chale gaye, you know. So such things are very filling, nutritious, healthy, and definitely always a winner.
Okay, ma'am, oats it is, I guess, but we'll have to get used to it not tasting as good as butter chicken.
I know. But the moment you think of the calories there.
Yes, definitely a major concern. Okay. Okay. So there's a question from Akalpreet that what kind of challenges have you faced after becoming a master chef, if any?
What challenges have I faced after becoming master chef? Okay. Actually, master chef was a threshold which opened up different opportunities for me, you know. And I did have to fight a few places, where I would lose out because of gender. Sorry to say, it still does exist. But I do not see too many difficulties. All the choices that I have made are my own. And whether it was staying back in Lucknow, I belong to Lucknow. And when people told me that you must move to Delhi or Mumbai because that is where all opportunities lie. But then I said, I'll create my own opportunities wherever I am. And I stayed back in Lucknow, and I've been very happy with whatever I've done. I I have a culinary academy here that I established, and for the past 8 years, we've been training chefs and uh, Today, I'm very happy to see so many of my students placed in so many different hotels. It gives you a very satisfying feeling. You know, and no, not too many difficulties, so to speak of, not too many challenges, except for a few which have always been there and which I've always been taking in my stride. They don't make any difference to me today. I don't worry about them. You see, every day brings you a new challenge. And I would tell everybody, I'm a badger, I'm a fighter, right? So I only know how to overcome challenges, never crib about them.
Okay, ma'am, that was really inspiring to hear. I will be handing it over to Garima now. Her internet connection is back as well, I hope. So, Garima, can you please take over?
Thank you, Madhumati. Ma'am, this was a great session, but due to
Thank you.
constraints and other sessions being lined out, we have to end it here. Thank you so much for such an enriching and a motivating session. It was great having you on board with us. HRDC SRCC is really honored and obliged for your presence. Thank you so
Thank you
much,
so
ma'am.
much, Garima. It was a pleasure being able to speak to all of you and to be able to answer your queries. I enjoyed every moment of it. Thank you so much.